Okay, so this is the last session of the day before we all go and enjoy a day break tomorrow. Okay, so following the submissions of second NDC last month, Indonesia is ready to work to fulfill its commitments across all sectors. So the topic of the discussion today is advancing water, energy, and food security through the second NDC towards NZE 2060. So we have our international partner, international organization, and of course, a few of government enterprises among our speakers today. First and foremost, I would like to kindly invite our keynote speaker. Let's hear some important messages from him. He is the Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Bapak Sakti Wahyu Trenggono, who's going to deliver his speech through the pre-recorded video in front of you.
Excellencies, distinguished delegate, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Indonesian government, it is a great honor for me to deliver this message at this very important side event. This is not merely a place for discussion, but a moral call for all of us to strengthen our nation's resilience on water, energy, and food security. Climate change is no longer a matter of the future, it is happening now, with significant impact already being felt, and we are witnessing it today. We witness rising sea temperature, more frequent extreme weather events, and coastal degradation. All directly threaten our water, energy, and food security system. As an archipelagic state with more than 70,000 islands and the second longest coastline in the world, the ocean is truly the heart of Indonesia's life. Ocean has important contribution to control our climate, provides water, energy, food, and livelihood for millions of people. But today, the ocean is on the front line of the climate crisis. Half of our mangroves have been degraded, and nearly 40% of our seagrass meadows are under threat. Under the leadership of President Prabowo, guided by our new regulations, including Presidential Regulation Number 110 of 2025 on carbon economic value, we are taking concrete action to integrate marine-based mitigation and adaptation, inclusive of blue carbon management, and to support our nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement. Between 2026 and 2027, Indonesia will rehabilitate 20,000 hectares of mangrove, planting 60 million trees across 17 coastal sites in Central Java. This project will involve about 6,000 local coastal residents, creating green jobs and strengthening local economies while reducing carbon emissions. We also implementing blue economy policy with 5 pillars. First, expanding marine conservation areas to cover 30% of our water by 2045. Second, implementing quota-based responsible fisheries. Third, promoting sustainable aquaculture. Fourth, strengthening ecosystem surveillance on coastal and small islands. Fifth, engaging fishermen and coastal communities and reducing marine plastic pollution. Innovation is also at the core of our effort by introducing national policy on accelerating food security or self-sufficiency, including blue food. Enhancing blue food security with sustainable innovation and technology. Solar power aquaculture technology to replace fossil fuel-based energy. Integrated multi-tropic aquaculture system combining seaweed, fish, and shellfish to optimize nutrient use and carbon absorption. low carbon fish feed by optimizing local raw material sustainably, circular economic models for aquaculture waste, and last, climate resilient aquaculture cluster that secure blue food production amid environmental change. Excellencies, distinguished delegate, we know that no single country can face this challenge alone. Collaboration between government, industries, scientists, and communities is the key. Let us make sure that the ocean is not a victim of climate change, but a powerful part of the solution. With collaboration and a shared commitment, we can build a resilient and sustainable planet for future generations to come. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the statement made by the Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, and we're privileged to have a second keynote speaker who's going to paint a complete picture from the government perspectives. Allow me to invite her. She's the Deputy Coordinating Minister for Food, Accessibility and Safety, Indonesia, Ibu Nani Hendiarti.
His Excellency Sakti Wahyu Trenggono, Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries of the Republic of Indonesia, distinguished panelists, moderator, speaker, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. In the world shaped by rapid change, uncertainty, and interconnected crisis, ensuring every person has reliable access to safe and nutritious food is crucial. So, however, as also mentioned by the Minister, the challenges we face today are real for also our food security. One of the threats is climate change that impact the stability of our food security and our food productions. We realize agriculture sector is very important for food security, also contributes to green gas emission. Indonesia is aligning its national food policies with our second NDC and also with our long-term goal of achieving net zero emission by 2060 or sooner. The smart agriculture and energy sector are intertwined in supporting our NDC, and including reducing methane impact from the livestock. By 2035, the second NDC projects emission reduction from agriculture is around 5.25%. Our effort in achieving food security is also in line with the National Medium-Term Development Plan about national priority on encouraging national independence through self-sufficiency in food, energy, water, blue economy, and green economy, and also building from the villages. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, so the next part we would like to mention about the nexus of the water, energy, and food is very influential to the food self-sufficiency. The government of Indonesia implements two key strategies program, which are intensification and extensification of our food system. In the intensification, we continue to improve the productivity of our existing agriculture land, which is including first enhancing the distribution system of fertilizer. It means here the subsidized fertilizer needs to be make sure that the farmer can receive timely and efficient manner. The second one is revitalizing irrigation system to ensure stable water supply throughout planting cycle. And the third, strengthening the role of the agriculture extension officer who provide direct guidance to the farmer on the modern and climate resilient farming practices. Our effort were starting to show the positive result. Indonesian agriculture sector recorded the highest growth in the last 15 years. And this remarkable performance contribute to our total rice stock reaching 3.92 million tons, and I think now is almost 4 million tons. And the farmer terms of trade are also increasing 0.47% for this year. So this shows the indication that we are working hard in the food affairs through the coordinating ministry and also the many regulation that we coordinate to make the coordination, and then also in the implementation cross ministries. So beside that, so as I mentioned, we have also extensification program. We expanding our production capacity. So the government is developing new agriculture zone that are known as a food estate program. This initiative aims to secure long-term national food availability by opening new, sustainable, and well-managed cultivation areas. Some priority areas, among others, as you can see in here in the slide, are in the South Papua, Merauke, and also in Central Kalimantan and South Sumatra, with significant potential for large-scale and sustainable food productions. To ensure coordinated implementation, the government has established a special coordination team according to the Indonesian Presidential Decree number 19 this year, 2025, led by the Coordinating Ministry for Food Affairs and working closely with related ministries and agencies. It's about, I think, about 16 ministries are involving in this national team coordination. So their mandate to safeguard and accelerate extensification effort for the national food, energy, and water in the regions. Additionally, we are also doing the revitalizing the traditional and coastal aquaculture system, as mentioned by the minister, that blue food is also important for Indonesia because we have a big potential, and also we have new priority program started by 6 January this year called the Free Nutrition Meal Program, and we understand the fisheries has higher protein. So we are working on this in the program specifically to have the aquaculture system in the northern coast of Java. And this initiative lead, of course, by the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries and leverage the concept of the blue food, which is improving the productivity and sustainability of coastal pond to boost fish and shrimp production as an essential complement to the national food security. And the other thing I would like to also mention that the carbon pricing using the new presidential regulation will also serve as one of the key policy instruments to support the financing need. By putting an economic value on the carbon emission reductions, we can create such kind of the incentive for the industries to transition toward the low carbon technology in agriculture sector. if we see the nexus, yeah, we need strengthening the water, energy, food nexus, and this is not just about increasing the production. So it is also about ensuring water, energy, and food system are developed in harmony, in synergy. So securing resilience for the future generation. So with strong coordination, clear priorities, and data-driven policy making, Indonesia is steadily building a more secure, sustainable, and prosperous food future. And we believe that together with support all the stakeholders, national and also international, we can build and develop our dynamic and competitive economy for food security while simultaneously ensuring the future generation inherit a healthy and balanced environment. So in this session, we hope that we can have a discussion because we have a speaker from different stakeholder related with how to implement the nexus between food, water, and energy. Because as we see that the all three components are all very important, and we believe that we will make together and achieve our target for also self-sufficiency, not only for food, but also for water and energy. So thank you very much, and with a productive and fruitful discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ibu Nani, for the statement or the speech. Okay, let's quickly, we're going to have a talk about the opportunities actually in the water, in the food, energy sector, as well as we're going to demonstrate how how the companies, the corporations balances the mitigation efforts between decarbonization and social equity. And we're going to take this forum as well to serve as a tool to encourage international collaboration, finance mobilization, and to drive innovation to achieve NZE 2060. Okay, I'm going to call upon all the speakers. Joint Head of Voluntary Carbon Markets from the UK Department Energy Security and Net Zero, Shivani Katyal. Emily Kelly, Lead Blue Carbon Action Partnership, Ocean Action Agenda, World Economic Forum. Bapak Bondan Winarno, the Group Head of OHS, Management System and Corporate Sustainability, PT Pelindo. Bapak Happy Wardana, SVP HSE and Technology, PT Pupuk Kalimantan Timur. And joining online, Bapak Dikman Purnama, Head of Unit Climate Solutions and Sustainable Energy, PT Sukovindo. So, okay, to host the session, please welcome Assistant to Indonesian Presidential Special Envoy on International Trade and Multilateral Cooperation, Mas Ardi Wardana. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much for staying and attending the session. We would like to thank first Ministry of Coordinating Minister of Food Affairs who organized this event, and we would like to thank also stellar panelists that have come here that want to share their view in the advancing food in the sector of food, energy, as well as the water sector in pursuing the net zero in Indonesia. So my name's Ardi Wardana. I'm working for the Special Envoy for International Trade and Multilateral Cooperation. I'll be moderating this session, and hopefully that we can be able to communicate interactively, as well as we can firstly we would like to hear from the panelists here to share their view on the topic. before moving forward, I'd like to let you know that Indonesia just passed the presidential decree number 110 in 2025, just last month. The Minister of Fisheries back then has already mentioned about this purpose, and it includes several things. At least there are three things that we try to revise. First, the simplification of mechanism. Second, the decentralization in governance, and third is the high integrity mechanism. So those are the three things that the key messages that we want to convey to the world, that our carbon pricing, our carbon market is going to be one of the high integrity markets. So today we would like to talk more into the sectoral carbon market, as well as the sectoral progress in mitigation action in Indonesia. So first thing first, I'd like to invite probably Mr. Happy to talk about his sector, which is in this case fertilizer. You're from the PT Pupuk Kalimantan Timur, is one of the largest fertilizer company for a context in Indonesia. And Pak Happy here is to share his view in first, what's the decarbonization pathway, and also what's the role of your sector in the mitigation action in Indonesia. Time is yours.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's a great honor for me to join this event. So today, I would like to briefly highlight Pupuk Kaltim commitment to climate action. As global emission rise, industrial sector must accelerate their transition toward low carbon operation. Pupuk Kaltim is aligning its strategy with Indonesia climate ambition by advancing cleaner production, improve energy efficiency, and adopting innovative technologies. These efforts form the foundation of our pathway toward net zero emission by 2050. By balancing industrial growth with environmental stewardship, we strive to ensure that food security, community prosperity, and planetary health can progress together. So this commitment represents not only just a goal, but also a transformation already in motion. Before I explain more detail about our initiative, let me introduce about Pupuk Kaltim. Next, please. Yeah, Pupuk Kaltim was established in 1977 in Bontang, East Kalimantan. Today, we stand as the larger fertilizer producer in Indonesia, playing a crucial role in supporting national food security and ensuring reliable availability of nitrogen-based fertilizer. So we have 5 plants ammonia and also 5 plants urea with capacity total 2.7 million tons per year for ammonia plants and 3.4 million tons per year for urea plant. And we also have 3 NPK plants, or we call it compound fertilizer, with total capacity 300,000 tons per year. In terms of environmental performance, Pupuk Kaltim has been recognized as the first fertilizer company to consistently achieve a gold proper at national level, maintaining the highest environmental compliance and innovation standard for several consecutive years. Next, in conducting its business processes, Pupuk Kaltim is guided by the framework known as the strategic house. Our purpose is to contributing to national food security while advancing sustainable gas-based downstream industry in Indonesia. Guided by this purpose, our ambition is become a global competitive company in the integrated agro-solution, chemical and petrochemical sectors. This ambition is supported by 3 main strategic pillars. First, we have a global cost leader. Second, fertilizer scale up. And third, value added downstream. All of this pillar is built out on a strong strategic foundation, which are ESG value creation, organization and operating model transformation, digitalization and innovation, and human experience management. Next, to synchronize our purpose in preserving national food security and promoting environmental sustainability, Pupuk Kaltim implements several decarbonization initiatives in 2025, include energy efficiency, solar power system, and electric vehicle. Related to energy efficiency, a significant reduction in gas emission achieved through the replacement of Plan 1 with new technology plan, which is Plan 5, which contribute up to 980,000 metric tons of CO2 equivalent. If it compares to the target, the reduction is equivalent to 187%. For the next program, solar power system, Pupuk Kaltim reduced the carbon emission through the installation of 3.8 megawatt rooftop solar power system on existing company buildings to generate electricity for operational purposes such as office facilities. The installation of this rooftop solar panel previously produced by the GTG, gas turbine generator of Plant 3. The emission reduction resulting from this initiative, 3,300 tons of CO2 equivalent. Regarding the EV or electric vehicle, Pupuk Kaltim has replaced a number of operational vehicles such as buses, cars, and motorcycles that previously used fossil fuel with electric vehicle, consisting 41 electric motorcycles, 10 electric cars, and 6 electric buses. These electric vehicles are powered by solar energy, making them completely emission-free. From January to October 2025, the contribution of these programs to emission reduction is around 32 tons of CO2 equivalent. Next. Yeah, the graph above illustrates the greenhouse gas emission trend in Pupuk Kaltim from 2010 up to 2050. So the blue line represent the business as usual scenario, with, or we call it the condition without any intervention. The orange line indicate the emission reduction target according to NDC to SNDC commitment, and the gray line shows the actual projection with various energy efficiency effort and technological innovation. Without any action, emissions are projected to reach around 7.45 million tons of CO2 equivalent by 2050. However, with the decarbonization target, emissions are expected to decrease to 1.14 million tons of CO2 equivalent. Based on current projection, emission could reach around 1.35 million tons of CO2, slightly above the target, but already showing a very positive trajectory. Through this decarbonization effort, Pupuk Kaltim has the potential to reduce approximately 6.1 million tons CO2 equivalent compared to business as usual. This demonstrates that Pupuk Kaltim have a strong commitment to supporting Indonesia national target of achieving net zero emission by 2050. Next. This slide is a continuation of the previous decarbonization roadmap. While the earlier part illustrates the overall direction in general, this section focuses on the timeline or implementation phases of Pupuk Kaltim decarbonization program from 2025 to 2050. The timeline highlights concrete initiatives and strategic projects that support carbon emission reduction through energy efficiency improvement, renewable energy utilization, and the development low carbon technology such as blue and green ammonia. As I explained before, in 2025, we already implement a solar power plant PLTS, and in 2026, our program is revamping of Plant 2. The next phase focus on enhancing energy efficiency at Plant 2 by achieving energy saving 4 MMBTU per ton ammonia. The target emission reduction at this stage is around 106,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. This program is currently in progress and is expected to be completed next month. So in 2026, the revamping of Plant 2 we can get the result from the revamping of Plant 2. In 2028, construction of new soda ash plant will be finished. The project itself already start in third quarter of this year. This plant will produce 300,000 tons each of soda ash and ammonium chloride annually. With the establishment of this plant, up to 30% of national soda ash demand is expected to be met domestically. The plant has the potential to reduce emission by around 224,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. In 2030, a new NPK3 plant will be developed using the latest technology to enhance national food security through increased production capacity of compound fertilizer. Moving to 2032, Pupuk Kaltim will expand its footprint to eastern Indonesia through the development of new plant in West Papua, also with 825,000 metric tons per year capacity, ensuring closer fertilizer supply to farmers in the region. Entering 2035, we will begin operate blue ammonia plant 2, applying CCUS technology to significantly reduce CO2 emission from ammonia production. Next, in 2040, the company will advance the development of blue ammonia plant 3, along with additional blue ammonia facilities, reinforcing our commitment to industrial decarbonization. Finally, by 2050, we aim to establish green ammonia plant, especially for ammonia plant 5, fully powered by renewable energy, and convert the blue ammonia plant in West Papua into green ammonia facility. Through this progressive phase, Pupuk Kaltim is transforming from a conventional fertilizer producer into a global competitive green chemical industry leader, fully aligned with Indonesia National Net Zero Emission 2050 target. I think that's all. Thank you.
Applause for Mr. Happy from PT Kaltim, from PT Pupuk Kaltim. We know that it's fertilizer is one of the hard to abate industries, right? So, but I think you are doing good in mitigating all the GHG emissions. Let's move forward to the second panelist here. So, since we already listened to the one of the hard to abate industries here from the fertilizer, let's listen to another industry. So I'd like to invite Mr. Bondan Winarno to give his intervention on the maritime sector. So please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity address this esteemed in the forum. Pak Ardi, also special thanks with Indonesian government, especially to Bu Nani Hendiarti Deputy Coordinating Minister for Food Accessibility and Safety. Today, I would like to address a critical issue in the maritime sector, the decarbonization of Indonesia maritime sector. As the one of the key driver of logistics, Pelindo must play an active role in supporting the government its program to reduce carbon emission. First, I will explain about the Pelindo at a glance. We know on the 1st October 2021, 4 state-owned enterprises in the port services, Pelindo 1, 2, 3, and 4, merged to form PT Pelabuhan Indonesia Persero or Pelindo, establishing it as the sole Indonesia port service industry. Pelindo operators now span the entire country from the eastern to the western regions of Indonesia. The Pelindo's areas of operation now on 32 provinces and also 4 regions and 71 branches. Also, Pelindo have 4 sub-holding, and the first sub-holding for containers, and second sub-holding for non-container, the third for logistic and hinterland development, and the fourth marine equipment and port services. And also we have the non-cluster for non-port related business portfolio. Okay, in our vision to be a world-class integrated leader in the maritime ecosystem, and our mission to realize a national maritime ecosystem network through increased network connectivity and services integration to support Indonesia economic growth. Also, I will explain about since the beginning of 2025, in line with government also for the NDC, Pelindo has been compiling ESG roadmap. This roadmap outlining 35 ESG materials, and we have 59 strategic sub-initiatives related to Pelindo ESG effort. For our vision for ESG roadmap to become a leading integrated and world-class maritime ecosystem leader, and mission to establish a national maritime ecosystem network by enhancing network connectivity and services integration to support Indonesia economic growth. Also, we have 3 pillars for sustainability focus. On the first, for environment, we have 2 main focus. The first, promoting a net zero emission transition for a sustainable future, and the second, preserving natural ecosystem through the active conservation. For social also, we have 4 main focus. Yeah, and the first, empowering human resources for sustainable operation, promoting occupational health and safety for improved productivity, upholding human rights for fair and sustainable operation, building strong community relationship for shared sustainability. And the last, for governance, we have 2 main focus for upholding ethical standard for sustainable integrity, and also achieving excellent through standardization and digitalization. Enablers also Pelindo business transformation, we have 3. The first, transformation of work method and processes, and then for work culture, also in standardization system and work process, and standard and regulatory compliance and innovation collaboration. Okay, the urgency is clear. The maritime industry, we know that account for 2 until 3% of global GHG emission. For Indonesia, a nation that depends heavily on sea transportation, transitioning to low carbon economy is not just an option, but it is a necessity. We have ESG milestone. First, my roadmap, we define until 2029 for the first NDC, because after that, the next year, we will prepare for the second NDC. We have a main focus for environment in the first, implementation of electricity of port equipment, and the utilization of solar power for the port lighting, also onshore power supply or OPS, and ALMA. This is for fishermen wood. Also, average annual reduction from business as usual emissions, and fulfillment of readiness to the proper assignment assessment. And the last, mangrove planting and restoration. Social also, we have main focus for major accident for fatality, also occupational health and safety management system implementation, community satisfaction index, and then social return of investment, percentage of women leader nomination, and employee satisfaction index gap closure, and also employee satisfaction index scale until 5. Last one, number of corruption and bribery cases of conflict of interest case, and number of discrimination cases, and standardization digitization port services. Pelindo milestone for fulfilling ESG rating and investor requirement, and also Pelindo strategic action need technological and operational innovation also for the technology. Okay, for ESG in action in Pelindo, we have digitalization and decarbonization and also electrification. On the first, it's very important digitalization as a key enabler of end-to-end port services integration and efficiency. We have three main. The first, increasing operational efficiency to shorten vessel port stay and lower energy consumption. And second, enhancing ship estimate time arrival or ETA, accuracy and transparency through improved planning, and optimizing truck turnaround time, queue management for slot booking system. Enhanced operational efficiency at Pelindo operated ports has resulted in reduced vessel turnaround time and lower carbon emission with reduction between 30% and 70% observed in port like in the eastern Indonesia like Ambon, Sorong, and Jayapura. For reduction, we have main focus reforestation in the port area. Until now, we have 834.55 hectare of mangrove land, and also area with calculated carbon storage potential. This is totally until 60,000 ton CO2 equivalent. Also, we have environmental program for management. Actually, we have phase reception facility or RF in the 67 branches. And also, for conversion, Pelindo have electrification of equipment. Electrification until 245 port equipment can reduce by 30,000 for 34,397 ton CO2 equivalent a year, divided by 101 key container crane and each MC, also 11 crane, gantry lift laving crane, and 11 conveyor, and also 10 jeep crane, also 100 RTG and RMGC, and 12 overhead crane. Also, we have opportunity onshore power supply, because onshore power supply for ship during cargo operation at 55 point in 20 terminals, replacing auxiliary engine. Totally installing onshore power supply has the potential to reduce emission by 1.61 ton CO2 equivalent per call, also per ship dock, and cut the fuel consumption around 30 until 40% based on shipping line company interview. Implementation solar power plant, this is also important for us because 5 solar power plant installation with a total capacity until 763 kilowatt have the potential to reduce up to 190.27 tons of CO2 equivalent emission per year, assuming 70% operational effective. And Pelindo commit to implement ESG, evidenced by the ESG score, which there will be more improvement in the future. From the ESG rating, from Sustainalytics, Pelindo have 13.2 or low risk, and then for Indonesian government or BPKP have 88.43%, and also from HCI for score B, and also Pelindo have award by gold category from NCCR. Okay, now next, yeah, I will explain the progress in implementing the decarbonization program. In 2024, but our milestone for equipment identification, before I explain, 245 equipment, and then 5 brands for solar energy lighting, our power supply 55 point, and also Alma have 5 point, average annual reduction 3%, and also mangrove reforestation until 920 hectare. If you look the graphic, yeah, full consumption, this is very important because from 2023 until 2024, we can reduce 25.38%. And total emission, we can reduce until 13.70%, 17%. Next. Yeah, this is the trend of national logistic costs, so decline over the past few years. Three main components that contribute logistic costs. The first, transport and warehouse costs. And the second, inventory costs. And the last, administration costs. We looked at from 2018 until 2022, we can reduce 2.1%. This is by 8.8% transportation costs, also inventory costs 3.2%, and administration costs 2.3%. Okay, next. Yeah, this is the last one. I will show about how Pelindo implementation of green logistic enable to encourage logistic industry competitiveness in the global market. We look ocean freight contribute in 1.47% emission distribution for CO2. If we look logistic, yeah, contribute to 7%. And then for CO2 emission distribution in logistics sector, dominated by transport sector with land commercial vehicle emission contributing 40% and ocean freight contributing 21%. And also on the role of port in actualizing green logistic, Pelindo commit in scope 1 and scope 2 and also scope 3. Scope 3, GHG emission from source not owned or directly controlled by company, but Pelindo still commit because we have also providing onshore power connection. Also, we commit for the green facilitator for onshore power supply and truck booking system, and green actor for the three main of operation standardization and digitalization, equipment electrification, and low energy initiative, and also rooftop solar panel installation. And the last one, green promoter. Also, we Pelindo need to promote, educate, and campaign to raise sustainability awareness. Thank you.
All right, applause for Mr. Bondan Winano. Let's move on to the third panelist that would give us a little bit of view on the opportunities and challenges, I think, right? And also, what can we build? You already heard from the industries, our industries now, from the fertilizer as well as from the Pelindo before. Do you think there are opportunities, challenges, or anything that we can do in order to have an accelerated action plan for mitigation action?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm Shivani Katyal from the Energy Security and Net Zero Department. First, may I say greetings to Your Excellency Ibu Nani and the panelists and the audience. It's a pleasure to be here today. So I am from the carbon markets team in the UK Department for Energy Security and Net Zero. And I'd like to spend a little bit of time today just thinking about what we do in the UK and how we're working with our friends and colleagues in Indonesia through the establishment of high integrity carbon markets. So first, just a little on the UK's journey on carbon markets. It's been a long history of lots of different types of market that we've worked with. In 2002, we launched the first voluntary scheme for emissions trading, which has since been institutionalized through our participation first in the EU emissions trading scheme from 2005 to 2020, following which we created our own UK emissions trading scheme in 2021. And since we have been working on tightening our emissions cap, cutting allowances by 30% through 2030, and we are also expanding that scheme to cover maritime and waste sectors. In November 2024, the government on the voluntary market side, because we see very much a role for high integrity voluntary markets alongside corporate decarbonisation, we launched, the government launched 6 principles aimed at improving the integrity of voluntary carbon and nature markets. Earlier in 2025, to work on how we were going to take those principles forward and actually implement them, we launched a consultation on how to take those principles forward in terms of what policy, governance, regulation and guidance that we could do. And I'm very pleased to say that that consultation closed in July, and we received over 200 responses. So you can see that there's a lot of interest in these markets because a lot of people want to see them work in a high integrity and well-functioning way. So by improving standards and accountability, the high integrity carbon and nature market will build trust among investors, businesses and the public, while encouraging responsible investment in nature-based solutions like reforestation, peatland restoration and habitat conservation that deliver both carbon reduction and ecological benefits. COP30 provides, we are all here today, it provides an opportunity for countries to come together and consider the key blockers and enablers to making high integrity carbon markets. Moving on to how we've been working with Indonesia to support the carbon markets activity, there are a number of different themes. So the first is around diplomacy and convening. First, I'm very excited that we had a recent leader level strategic partnership which was announced by our Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, and the Indonesian President, President Prabowo, in London in November 2024. The detail is now being negotiated and will be signed possibly in early 2026, and we're very hopeful and excited for that. Climate and nature are at its heart and fall under Pillar 2, climate, nature and energy, which includes commitments on climate policy and governance, energy, sustainable finance, forests, sustainable commodities, nature, oceans, and infrastructure and transport. Indonesia is at a pivotal moment in its climate journey, aiming to balance emission reductions with economic development and social inclusion across forestry, agriculture, waste, energy, and industry. And I just want to say that the 2 presentations we've had today just show how considered and forward-leaning companies are being in this respect. So thank you for sharing all of those details. The UK is committed to being a strategic partner in this effort, offering technical, financial and policy support to help Indonesia build a high-integrity carbon market. And I just want to highlight a couple of high-level visits that we had in Indonesia recently. So our Special Envoy for Climate, Rachel Kite, visited in May 2025, and she led a buyers' roundtable in Jakarta, sparking interest in purchasing high-integrity Indonesian carbon credits. Her visit reinforced the UK's support for Indonesia's carbon market development and green growth agenda. That was soon followed by a visit by our other special envoy, but this is the envoy for nature, Ruth Davis, who visited in August 2025, and where she emphasised the UK and Indonesia's shared commitments on protecting ecosystems, promoting climate action, and supporting sustainable development. She also highlighted the potential of carbon and biodiversity credits to attract global investment and deliver co-benefits for people and nature. And finally, just on the kind of diplomacy side, something that I'm working on very closely is the Coalition to Grow Carbon Markets. And we've had some really constructive and excellent conversations with the Indonesian government. We were really pleased that Indonesia participated in the launch of the coalition in London, alongside our co-chairs Kenya and Singapore. And this coalition is really aiming to generate demand for high-quality carbon credits by sending a kind of a coherent and consolidated message from a range of governments to say to businesses that these credits are important and you should invest in them. And we, just in that vein, we launched in Sao Paulo last week a set of shared principles and a plan for action for the next 3 years. So really excited and really looking forward to further engagement with the Indonesian government on this. The second theme for our engagement and support with Indonesia is through regulatory frameworks. So we have the UK Pact programme in Indonesia, which is focused on strengthening carbon pricing frameworks, regulatory readiness and market infrastructure. UK Pact Phase 1 activities have been completed with the development of a roadmap for carbon pricing in the agriculture sector and the methodological framework and readiness assessment to support the transition to low emission rice varieties. Very important because rice is so important to us all. Phase 2 will build on previous works and will focus on 1, the regulatory and policy framework, and 2, carbon market strategy and infrastructure. As the primary programme of the Blue Planet Fund, the Climate and Ocean Adaptation and Sustainable Transition Programme, which is acronym is COAST, supports both the Indonesia's National Blue Carbon Action Partnership and the COAST facility. And I note that there is one of my fellow panellists, Emily, is going to be speaking about blue carbon more shortly. The COAST programme will support the establishment of implementing regulations on blue carbon by the Marine Affairs and Fisheries Ministry. COAST facility has committed up to £18 million in Indonesia until 2030. And Aim for Forests through FAO is supporting the strengthening of Indonesia's national forest monitoring system, which will underpin Indonesia's monitoring, reporting and verification systems. The third area of cooperation is around high integrity supply, where we are working on jurisdictional RED Plus projects with Indonesia, and we're proud to support several programs in Indonesia with roughly $80 million of support, combining commitments under the Green Climate Fund at the national level, Forest Carbon Partnership Facility in East Kalimantan, Biocarbon Fund in Jambi, and UN RED in Rio. These programs help ensure that Indonesia has high integrity supply of forest carbon credits. This can make it easier to sell to compliance markets as well as to other buyers of high integrity credits such as the LEAF Coalition, which the UK government and several UK companies are a part of. Finally on this, carbon credit rating agencies. For project developers, the UK is also really proud that several of the major carbon credit rating agencies used by Indonesian project developers are based in the UK, and these include companies such as B0 and Silvera. These ratings can help increase buyer confidence in mitigation outcomes. And the British Embassy in Jakarta is happy to continue having conversations with these agencies as is helpful. The next theme is around inclusion and equity, and I want to stress that it's important to consider how carbon markets can mobilise finance towards local communities and indigenous people who are at the forefront of climate and nature action. Both UK-funded Setapak and the Land Facility aim to support communities to establish social forestry permits and hope to enable some communities to establish carbon projects, recognising that the high capital and capability requirements of carbon project development can be prohibitive for small-scale developers. And I just want to emphasise that working with these communities is so important because they're the ones that are at the forefront and really can make the difference. So moving forward, as Indonesia increases its carbon trading volumes, we imagine that it will be better able to make decisions based on pricing signals. We hope that price premiums for high integrity credits will mobilise finance towards the projects that are best able to support mitigation outcomes alongside social equity and biodiversity where relevant. Ultimately, broad-based multi-sectoral mitigation outcomes are best promoted through a mix of international carbon trading and domestic carbon pricing. So it's great that Indonesia is continuing to strengthen its domestic carbon tax. And we very much look forward to continuing to support Indonesia's high integrity carbon market development through both our convening power as well as our development cooperation. Thank you very much.
Right, applause for Ms. Shivani Katyal. Thank you very much. As we've discussed about the carbon market as the opportunity for Indonesia's industry, I'd like to invite Ms. Emily Kelly to dig deeper into the carbon have opportunity, especially for the blue carbon, right? So I hope you can share your view on that and what's the opportunity and the challenges that we have in Indonesia in blue carbon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation from Kemenko Pangan and Ibu Nani. Thank you. I wish that everyone could stand in this space because there's really great airflow on this stage. So it's a special pleasure to be here with great circulation as well. Thank you to the coordinating ministry. So pleased to see you all here in Belém and to share a little bit more about how we have been working with the government of Indonesia over the last several years in partnership in support of the blue carbon ambitions of Indonesia. We have been partnering with Kemenko Pangan as the lead ministry and very pleased also to be engaging with KKP, Bappenas, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Forestry and others, as well as key stakeholders across NGOs, expert groups, community organizations, etc., and companies and financial institutions. So it's been quite a fascinating process and happy to share a little bit more with you. Next slide, please. So this is the goal of the Blue Carbon Action Partnership. This is funded under the UK's COAST program, as we've just learned a little bit more about. And the goal of this is to unlock investment, support national ambitions, and empower local communities to accelerate blue carbon action. Next slide, please. I think that this slide is not essential for this audience because we are here together in COP, but I just wanted to emphasize that, of course, these ecosystems have very strong monetary value, and that's a key component for the discussion as we talk about carbon markets, as we listen more to the discussions happening with Article 6 right now. And they, of course, are also rich ecosystems for supporting local livelihoods, for reducing the impact of cyclones, and for supporting biodiversity. Next slide, please. So as we think about how we can increase investment into these ecosystems, we can think about all the different types of value that we place on them and how we can combine them to be supportive of the ecosystems and the communities that live within them. So again, the Blue Carbon Action Partnership is working with the government in Indonesia in two ways. The first is at a national level to achieve blue carbon ambitions, and I'll talk a little bit about what that relatively vague statement means. And then also at a global level to work with partners, particularly in unlocking the finance side. Next slide, please. I just wanted to bring this key piece to the front because, of course, Indonesia is a leader in blue carbon, home to 1/5 of all blue carbon ecosystems globally, and has very strong ambitions for where blue carbon ecosystem conservation and restoration should go. There are, again, a number of different targets that govern the actions nationally across ministries and agencies and NGOs, different private sector. There are also commitments made at an international level and then also targets at national, regional, and local levels. And so many different pieces all within the broader ecosystem that blue carbon ecosystems sit. Next slide, please. I'm sharing this piece, which is actually slightly out of date with some of the recent announcements from this month, not to dwell on the complexity of all the different moving pieces within blue carbon ecosystems, but to stress that they are, of course, often cross-jurisdictional. There are many different strategies that need to align to ensure mobilization of action, and that there is a long time horizon ahead in thinking about not just short-term benefits, but very long-term conservation restoration benefits for communities and for these ecosystems. And so the work of the National Blue Carbon Action Partnership, established in 2023, sits at the bottom left in the gray box there. And I'll talk about that action plan upcoming. So next slide, please. The Indonesia NBCAP was established in 2023, and with the goal of being a collaborative platform to support the implementation of national targets and collective commitments related to blue carbon. It is run by a secretariat in country that is hosted by Konservasi Indonesia and is in collaboration with ministries, with NGOs, experts, community groups, private sector, etc., to carry out some core roles, particularly across aligning and connecting and ensuring the prioritization of key goals in country. There are three major deliverables that come from this. One is a governance structure that is established. The second is the national action plan that will serve as a guide for implementation over the next 5 years and link with other plans happening within country. And the third piece is acceleration of strategic finance for blue carbon programs. And I'm very happy to say that it's wonderful to be standing with you. I feel sheepish about being the person speaking because the hard work has been done in country, and I am simply the messenger today to say that very soon the national plan will be announced, formally launched, and it will be a really exciting moment to have that codified for the next 5 years. In tandem with that, we're working on this strategic financing piece, and this, I'll ask for the next slide, please. This is the next, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thanks so much. And this is where we get to think about the key strategies within the action plan, which have been identified to cost $460 million over the next 5 years to support. So how do we think about spatial and area planning, increasing carbon stocks, integrating the blue carbon into NDCs, inclusiveness of seagrass ecosystems, and the blue economy targets, and how can we support those over the next 5 years such that we see change on the ground in coasts? And this is really the goal of connecting the very hard work that's been happening in country with what financiers may be looking at for investment. Next slide, please. So now we're at this exciting time where we're transitioning from identifying priorities and thinking about through that process and the development of additional policies, how that de-risks the potential investment for financiers. And Ibu Nani kindly joined us in a session in June at the UN Ocean Conference. We had a financier reacting to her presentation of the action plan saying, this is the hard work that's been done by the government of Indonesia and the other stakeholders, and this de-risks the potential for us to come in. So a really exciting and pivotal time. Next slide, please. So how do we get to those pieces? I want to share just a little bit more about what's happening at the global level for the Blue Carbon Action Partnership and how we link that within country. Next, please. First is we have the Global Mangroves Working Group that sits within the World Economic Forum. This is 30+ global companies, NGOs, and experts that are looking to raise the ambition of delivering action by corporates in conservation and restoration of mangroves. It's a peer-to-peer learning group, and so just as we've heard from our wonderful colleagues on the panel about the different strategies that they've been taking and thinking about decarbonization, this group serves to support companies that have not created a roadmap perhaps, or are thinking about this, are a little bit curious and want to hear from their peers. That's the goal here. And they've really been working to advance high quality momentum. Next slide, please. One company that is a member of the Mangrove Working Group is Gojek. And they have been working, as many of you all may be familiar, as a ride-hailing and e-commerce company. And they have an opportunity on the platform to implement restoration projects. So at the end of your ride, you can say that you'd like to give a little bit to reforestation. I'm curious if anyone has seen this on their app. Last time I was in Jakarta, I activated it on mine. It's a tiny little addition, but that adds up when you have a lot of rides across many people. And this directly feeds into the carbon accounting that's reported into the state registry system and contributes to Indonesia's NDC. So it's an exciting space for a company that's been thinking about how to support. It's not doing direct planting itself, but it's generating small contributions across millions of people. A really exciting, innovative approach. Next slide, please. The Mangroves Working Group has also been the corporate ear for, as we've been advancing a number of different products that are focused on high quality investment. So in Sharm el-Sheikh at COP27, we launched the High Quality Blue Carbon Principles and Guidance. The Mangrove Breakthrough Financial Roadmap was launched a year later for how to think much more about getting private investment into these ecosystems, and of course, looking to achieve the global goal of 14 million hectares restored and $4 billion mobilized by 2030 for mangroves. And then the final piece launched last COP was a practitioner's guide for high quality blue carbon principles and guidance. So these are some of the key reports that we've used to try to increase the guidance that can go to those corporations that are looking for more information about how to act in a high quality way. Next slide, please. And that also led us to say, how could we create something that is a playbook for our corporates that are thinking about this and not quite sure what that first step may be, taking it from a principle level and bringing it down to what an individual corporation's particular superpower may be and how they could take that into supporting mangrove seagrasses and salt marshes. So from that, we created the Investing in Mangroves Corporate Playbook. I wanted to highlight a few key pieces. One of them is that we really highlighted the essential element of people, nature, and climate together. And I think this has been highlighted in all presentations, that there is a true nexus across all of these goals, from biodiversity, climate, and sustainable development. The next, I'm sorry, can we go back one more? I'll take that as a sign to wrap as well. I'm close to done, which is to say that there's a really great opportunity to think about this as a systems approach also. So within this, we've mapped the engagement points for corporations and then the key partners that they may need to take steps forward. And that there are several different avenues for action. Some of these could be focusing credit buying, and I think we've heard some really interesting points about how that can advance right now in country. Some could be focused on supply chain buying, project development, and other types of engagement. So if you're curious about a little bit more of what the global conversation has been, there are case studies focused in Indonesia, of course, because Indonesia is the leader in this space. And welcome in engaging with you on that further. Okay, next slide, which is the QR code, but it'll come back. I just wanted to focus on one last piece, taking off my Blue Carbon Action Partnership hat and leaving my World Economic Forum hat on, that we've also been so pleased, next slide please, to, I'm sorry, nope, I have one more thing to say. We did also have a wonderful workshop in August that was focused particularly on financiers and investment pathways. And it was a real joy to have so many different stakeholders in the room. It was a very interactive workshop, and thinking more about how to get investment through credit markets, supply chains, SMEs, infrastructure, and insurance. And this is, the goal of this is really to get to the total value that is the 460 million that's been identified in the roadmap and how we can be financing that. So there'll be an upcoming guide, particularly for financial institutions, coming in the next couple of months, shortly after the action plan is launched, and look forward to sharing that with you all. So the next piece of this that I wanted to note briefly is that as Ibu Nani started, we are at the nexus of food, water, and energy, and there are so many components to that. And one of those, in thinking about healthy people and healthy ecosystems, is our global fight against plastic. We've been really pleased to be partnered with Indonesia, with Ibu Nani as the champion since 2020, and there have been so many achievements within that. Next slide, please. Just to note that there are thousands of stakeholders currently engaged in Indonesia on this topic. There's been a funding pledge of 21 trillion from members and partners during the road to G20, and there have been large efforts in mobilizing funding for solutions, among many other achievements of the NPAP, the National Plastic Action Partnership. It's been a real pleasure of the World Economic Forum to be working on this with the government of Indonesia. And my last slide, please, which is just a note to say that as we think about the water and food opportunities, the forum looks forward to continuing to engaging with Indonesia in strong partnership, including the last 10 years of the Grow Asia platform, the potential for work within the First Movers Coalition, and thinking about what public-private partnerships can do for water action as we look ahead to 2026. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Applause. As I mentioned in the very beginning, that we passed a new regulation on the Presidential Decree number 110/2025. The President endorses the blue carbon very much in the new regulation. So hopefully there will more projects in the blue carbon and more methodologies happen in the sector. and hopefully we can get more investment and projects alive in their sector, right? So yeah, for the last pieces that we wanted to have here from Mr. Dikman Purnama. So he's the head of Unit Climate Solutions and Sustainable Energy of PT Sukavindo. Are you with us, Mr. Dikman Purnama?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
All right, stage yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Her Excellency Ibu Nani Hendiarti, Deputy Coordinating Minister for Food Accessibility and Safety. Good afternoon, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Let me firstly introduce myself. My name is Dikman Purnama, acting as Head of Unit Climate Solution and Sustainable Energy from PT Sukovindo. It is a great honor to be a panelist at the COP30, representing Sukovindo, an esteemed member of Indonesia's state-owned enterprise of ID Survey, a survey holding company. Our theme today is Net Zero Start with Trust. In the complex landscape of climate action, trust is the most valuable currency. While in the carbon market, that trust is built on one foundation, high integrity and standardized carbon credit. I will share how Sukovindo play a critical role in underwriting that high integrity for Indonesia rapidly evolving carbon market. Next slide, please. Sukovindo, or stands for Superintending Company Indonesia, is a national leader in testing, inspection, and certification. Our core business spans the entire industrial sector value chains. However, most relevant to our discussion today is our dedicated services in greenhouse gas validation and verification. As validation and verification body, Sukovindo provides the independent assurance required for claims related to greenhouse gas emission, environmental labeling, carbon footprint products, and sustainability reporting. In a sense, acting the arbiters of data, ensuring that claims are accurate, credible, and verifiable. Next. Indonesia commitment to net zero is anchored in Indonesia firm national commitment. Indonesia has pledged to achieve net zero emission by 2060 or sooner, as outlined in our long-term strategy for low carbon and climate resilience. It takes so much effort in achieving net zero target. Now, to drive this transition, Indonesia has launched key market mechanisms, including an emission trading system for power generation subsector, and soon there will be cap and trade in industry sector with 9 subsector priority, including cement, ammonia, and metal industry. And next market mechanism, of course, our national carbon exchange, IDX Carbon. And the success of this instrument is entirely dependent on the integrity of the credits being traded. Next. Then the central question is how we deliver high integrity carbon credits. In the Indonesian context, high integrity means adherence to core carbon principles. The methodologies are governed by the Minister of Environment and registered in National Registry System, the SRNPPI, emphasizing in additionality, permanence, and quantification consistent with the NDC goals. Now, why does this standardization matter? Because it ensures environmental credibility, builds market trust, enables comparability across projects, and ultimately facilitate the scaling of the carbon market. The second is centralized registry system. We have the SRNPPA that tracks all credits, preventing double counting, ensuring national alignment. And the third one is mandatory third-party verification. This is where we, Sukovindo, comes in as independent verification by accredited auditors is essential for the credibility. And the last is the robust safeguard. This one is making sure that all projects must meet strict social and environmental safeguard, protecting communities and biodiversities. Next. So where does Sukovindo as PVB fit into the system? This diagram shows the flow of Indonesia carbon market, from the technical ministry setting the caps, to the Financial Service Authority, OJK, providing supervision, the SRNPPI as the registry, and the IDX Carbon as the exchange. The validation and verification body acts as the independent trust broker in the system. Further, the strategic role of the VVB is fivefold. We safeguard the integrity of the emission data. We uphold the transparency and accountability, and we enable access to sustainable finance by validating green initiatives. We support policy planning by providing reliable, verified data. And critically, we build international confidence in Indonesia climate claims and its alignment with the Paris Agreement. We understand that the transparency is essential, especially for the environmental and climate-related metrics. Our capability and adaptability in responding to climate solutions are equally important. In this context, our role is to ensure the credibility of climate performance across organizations from various sectors. This organization may include project lenders, proponents, donors, NGOs, and regulatory stakeholders, each of whom contributes to strengthening a robust MRV system. Over the past 3 years, we have taken significant steps to learn and advance our practices. This COP provides yet another opportunity for us to continue learning and to benchmark how the TIC industry and its assurance services are adapting to the global climate challenges. Next. This trust is not just claimed, it's earned. Our accreditation journey demonstrates our commitment to the highest global standard. In 2021, we secure our foundational accreditation from CAN, the National Accreditation Committee, then registering in the Ministry of Environment for carbon pricing, and the Ministry of Energy for the emission trading scheme. But carbon markets are global. That is why we are expanding internationally. We are already registered with Japan, Joint Crediting Mechanism, GCM, the Plastic Credit Exchange, the PCX, and the Climate Bond Initiative. We are currently under evaluating by FERA and Gold Standard with planned registration for the GCC, Global Carbon Council, and the UNFCCC. This dual accreditation ensures our verification is recognized both at home and abroad. Next. Our work is not theoretical, it has tangible impact. Sukovindo has verified millions of tons CO2 equivalent from major projects across Indonesia, as such large-scale geothermal projects, high-efficiency gas-fired power plants, and innovative waste-to-energy projects, such as biogas co-firing from palm oil effluent. Furthermore, we are a primary for emission trading system. As you can see, the ETS system has grown from 99 units in 2024 to 146 units in 2025 in a year of verification, covering over 38,000 megawatts of power capacity. This photo shows our teams on the ground conducting the meticulous on-site verification that underpins the entire system. Now, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I began in person by stating that net zero starts with trust. Indonesia is building a robust carbon market designed to make a real contribution to the national and global climate goals. This market, that market can only succeed if it is built on foundation of integrity. The integrity is guaranteed by a robust standardization and competence, independent validation and verification. So, acting as nationally, internationally accredited VVB, Sukovindo is to be the guarantor of trust. We ensure that every carbon credit verified represents a real, measurable, and permanent emission reduction. So we invite you to collaborate, invest, and place your trust in Indonesia high integrity carbon market. Next slide is the thank you slide. I think that's all. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
All right, applause for Mr. Dekman Purnama. Thank you very much for the closing statement as well. Since we don't really have a time for a Q&A, I would like to just sums up all the things that we have heard here. Probably it's too much for me to sum it up. But the whole is like we got a couple of information here from the panelists that Indonesia is moving forward to its net zero target, even for the hard to abate industry, and we move forward with our carbon market regulation, as well as we increase the integrity by having a robust standard in our VBBs. Those ecosystems will be able to make Indonesia as a powerhouse in carbon market, as well as a powerhouse in mitigation action. So Indonesia would be able to achieve their NDC's target in the future without jeopardizing its economic growth. So I think those are from me, and also I thank all the panelists here who have shared their views, comments, and also thoughts in Indonesia's carbon market and mitigation action. And hopefully in the future we can be able to meet again in another sessions. And yeah, don't forget to keep your mitigation action in anywhere you do, in everywhere you do, or in any place that you stay. So that's from me. Thank you very much from the whole organizers, and again, thank you.